I guess we call this meeting to order.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I will second that motion.
You want to add on Walton Academy painting?
Thinking in Academy and other. Any other changes?
I'm sorry, what's that addition?
There's an oil painting in the Academy building. It's looking at its frame and got a tear in it.
Thought it would be a good idea to get it, looked at. and
Sure.
Reattached. Before it falls on the floor. Hearing no other changes, we'll vote to accept the motion.
Aye.
All right,
Aye. All the ayes have it. Public comments.
No.
Anyone out there have public comments? Oh, there's two.
Oh, good.
Okay, hearing no comments, let's move into ATV ordinance. The purpose of, tonight's meeting hopefully is to revisit the topic, just have some time to think about it. Does anyone wanna?
So I'll make a motion to approve the draft ordinance that Big Brother sent us.
Okay. We get a second?
So we can begin discussion on it.
Tim, can you voice your second, please?
I second.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you said you had one copy.
I do.
And it's the same that was in the published
It is
document?
the exact same draft ordinance that we've had the entire time. Since the last time that the ATV ordinance was adopted, the only change was to the roads that are allowed to operate on, which was changed to just the class 4 section of Automero. So it's just the one. If you would like additional copies, I'm happy to make some.
Okay, well, who wants one? Do,
You see it, is it right there? I'll see, I'll look at it. Thank you.
Did you get it? You got it in the email.
oh, you did, okay.
I do. Does Todd have his hand up or?
No, that's,
Oh,
sorry.
So the way it stands in the ordinance now, the section on January, revisiting the ordinance every January. Does that automatically? It doesn't automatically renew, right?
So once the select board adopts the ordinance by statute, it is in place until or unless it is repealed. The select board has the authority to repeal the ordinance or amend it in the same way that you have the authority to adopt the ordinance.
Okay, so nothing happens automatically.
Nothing happens automatically. Once it's adopted, that's it, unless you decide to do something different.
there would have to be an affirmative action on our part to review it each January.
Right.
Okay, just wanting to make sure we're clear on that.
I am not clear on that. It is in this that we will be reviewing it every January, or it is not in this.
So there's language in there that says the select board will review the ordinance annually. But that does not make any change to the lawfully adopted ordinance. The select board would have to take action to change the ordinance as a result of their review.
So it's not like every January. It needs,
Reinstate it.
it doesn't, we don't have to take any action for it to remain in place.
If everything goes.
The
going
language
well.
says that we will revisit it every January, but that's an action we have to take. It doesn't, it's not as if it expires and we have to renew it.
Okay, understood.
And then just one thing to clarify, correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, or I mean, again, if this thing is going so heinously bad, you guys obviously have the right to
Oh, yeah.
nix it at any time too. It's not just that. It's only at January 1st. It's the intent is we come in and meet with you guys every January 1st. To talk about it for the upcoming season.
Well, don't show up on January 1st.
Well, we did that first meeting in January.
Danny, Peter,
Well, just a sort of background, I'm sure, you know, my interest is in the wildlife corridor, and I'm always looking for a way to figure we could get a teachable moment out of this, and I'm wondering if you're gonna do anything with your club members to apprise them of the actual facts of life about that piece of ground, that it is part of the wildlife corridor, et cetera, and maybe, you know, you sign up to be in the club, right, and they pay dues. I would hope that you could even put it in your PR stuff that says, hey, we have this amazing bit of real estate here that just turns out to be the crucial corridor and wildlife getting from the White Mountains to the Green Mountains. And therefore, you know, I'm a member and I'm signing and pledging my respect for the environment and I'm not gonna do anything, you know, other than tire tracks or something to wreck it. So I guess I'd be, it'd be important if we could do that to help. To let us, I mean, the town, we of the public are giving you of the private. The option, you know, the opportunity to use our roads to make a business, to, you know, profit in some way or other, just whatever, I don't know what your fees will be and stuff, but it would, I think, just go a long way towards making it more worthwhile and more worthy, in fact, that you're teaching people about the environment they're on. I know there's, as an English teacher, the irony does not escape me, but, it just seems to me that would be a real plus for you to be telling people up there, yep, this is a really important thing, and here's why it's important. And we expect you to honor our rules and our environment. I think the comment last weekend about, well, okay, I look on your Facebook page and I say, okay, I got 3 buddies and we want to come up and go for a ride. Now, do you take them and sort of, are you the guide in that stretch of Auto Merrill, or do they just crank up and go?
I think similar to any kind of recreation, where you have a kiosk or something that, or different, you know, places to put signs, or, you know, there's different things that we have that go out there, you know, it's about respecting, stay on trails or go home.
Yeah.
Same with any form of allowed recreation, whether it's hiking or
Yeah.
mountain biking, same, all uses the same. And absolutely, would take advantage of anything that we can do to have teachable moments. You know, do some good outreach. A lot of what we're doing is also hand in hand, I feel, with the stewardship of, you know, taking care of, you know, the road and taking care of everything that's up there. There's also historic, you know, old foundations and stuff that in time would love to have some plaques or other things that, you know, help, you know, make a connection for people that, when they are up there, so that has that, you know, extra layer of value. So then people want to, you know, take care of it. They're not just dinging, you know, again, whether it's ATVs or trucks and whoever is dinging beer cans, or like, we stop. If I see the beer can on the side of the road, we all stop. We pick them up and leave it better than you found it, you know, try to carry that same presence.
Well, I'm just hoping that maybe in the formality of signing whatever document they do to become a member, that would contain the pledge, you know, I pledge to, you know, obey the rules and stick with it and to respect the environment, because it's so important.
so I've got a question, how
That sounds like a good idea.
how this works. The town, Auto Merrill Road is town highway.
Mhm.
but somebody comes in from somewhere else and sees that that's open and they drive on the Automera Road, and then they get to your trail.
Mhm.
Do you have signs that say club members only, or
We
what?
do.
You do? Okay, so they pretty much have to turn around and go back the way they came and,
Yeah, to the point, like, we have, they're like a big yellow triangle and it says, you know, VASA members only. You know, and I think it's got something else to the effect of, you know, violators, you know, or please do not, you know, use it, there's for the purpose of, you know, paid members only. And I, you know, for at least for our property, what we were gonna also do is probably put like a certain, you know, no trespassing, or it's by the permission of the use for this trail, you know, same idea, it's that. So the users were there, to answer, no, we're not necessarily a guide, it's a lot like anything else where. You know, there'll be a kiosk and at the trailhead that's not only one reminding them of these are the trails are available. Based on the permissions by the private landowners. And the town for the class 4 road and how important it is to obey and stay on trail, or again, stay home, because anything off trail is trespassing, and then. You know, that it's either to follow the app or the, you know, pretty much at every possible turn, there's an arrow in the direction of. You know, which way to go, and then, you know, no ATVs beyond certain points, or. You know, and then emphatically have that, you know, on either end of the armor where it's not. You know, as it leaves the class 4 portion, that it is. You know, no ATV travel beyond this point.
um,
But if we approve this, the road itself is open to the world. Not just Wildcat Catamount members.
Cascadenac,
Yeah.
like our club,
Yeah. I mean, your trails are only to Cascadenac
Do
members.
they have to be a VASA member to ride the road as well? Is that the rule? You have to have a tag decal?
yes,
So you have to be a member of VASA, which is the bigger organization.
Yep.
To be able to utilize the class 4 road or the local trust, it's required. They have to pay their dues and show their proof of insurance, all that. Also, Tim has a hand up.
I see that.
I
Jim?
thought he was gonna serenade us.
Yeah. Hoping he may.
No, it's not gonna happen. I guess. That discussion just answered my, kind of quelled my concerns. So. We're gonna open it up to your members. Cause I think one of the points that came up last week is like, I trust you. I trust, you know, the mayors or whoever else in the room. But I think the biggest concern is from folks from out of state and stuff like that, but you're Ian. In order to use this one time, whatever it is, 2 miles, they have to be a member of your club. And therefore, you know, responsible to your rules, correct?
It's not the Cascadenac Valley Wheelers specifically. They have to be members of VASA, which is the.
State.
Okay. All right. Good, I'm all good, thank you.
That's a state.
Thank you for putting this together, by the way.
Massachusetts people, are they a member?
So
of
if
VASA?
if someone from out of state
Yeah.
purchases, so they have to answer the same questions when they purchase a Vermont decal, that
Yeah,
they'll follow the rules, they'll wear helmets, they'll have insurance. Like there's 4 specific things, like you have to sign, like under penalty of perjury, it's, you do have to sign it, when you're obtaining your Vermont trail access decal.
so the part about the decal isn't. I don't think it's in our ordinance, it's in
So
It's in the
when,
book.
so rather than try, so when we did the subcommittee, we did, go weigh things and try to go back and forth on how much of the statute to regurgitate versus, you know, specifically cite. So
Mhm.
I don't have the ordinance in front of it there. I think there's a spot there where it specifically points out, to follow statute 23, chapter 31. That is the statute that identifies that where the laws are. So that falls under operation, so pursuant to Title 23, Chapter 31. So that's what goes back to the statute that says all the parameters for the Bassett TAD, because that's part of like where the language came forward where even if it was a class 4 road, it needs to have the municipal, approval to be part of this, and then you have to have your Bassett TAD to run on any section.
One thing that I've noted, or, actually pointed out is the map.
Yeah.
That's my fault, it's just the old, it's the prior map, there is a new map that Ian had of just Auto Merrill, or you can strike the map altogether. And I think it's only referenced once in that document where it says roads that are open, and it says C map
C-map,
speed
yeah.
limits, so
Which
you
is
can
great.
just set the speed limit.
And there'd be maps at the kiosks as well as.
Correct.
Right.
And then the other thing, it's the same thing, like when you're signing up for your Bassett TAD, it says that you understand that also to follow the app, the ride command, because in some places things do change. Routinely, like all of a sudden logging operations slows down trails, or a private property owner is taking away their permission or one thing or another, so it's that the person, obviously. With a small section, we'd be able to keep an updated map there, but it's also that if anything changed, immediately that the ride command app is updated daily with Vermont and Polaris that handles that for the state.
So this, go ahead, John.
Do you have trails connecting at either end, or people do go down Automobile, turn around and come back?
We have trails on both ends, so
So
we've got
they do some kind of,
So we've got between our 50 acres and then, so our neighbors have let us, do some on their piece. And then once you get to the other end, there's, a 10-acre spot that we already have, a trail, and then we're gonna do more loops and zigzags. So it takes, quite a bit of time. And then we have 2 potential other pieces of, over 100 acres worth of land on the other end that, of potential private
the
land.
Royal Village end.
Royal Village ends.
So the 2 miles of Auto Merrill is open to all VASA members, and the rest is just to the Cascade Neck, or
No, it would be all Vassar.
all VASA? Okay,
Which,
okay.
and I mean, this is just, right now, this is the start, the way for what it is, but I mean, like our neighbors already, like, has an ATV, came over and looked at it, he's like, oh, hey, I wanna take my buddy out on my mountain bike, do you mind if I, run all sorry, I showed him all of our wood roads and trails that we've gotten open back up, I'm like, absolutely, take, follow everything that we've got with the mountain bikes, knee bikes, and usually that's the way it works, is in a lot of places, is it is multi-use, there's folks end up using it that, of similar type, recreation can mountain bike it or horseback it or whatever.
Yeah, it just makes me think of the general discussion on development, and I guess I'd like to point out that we have a pressing kind of circumstance going on that side of the mountain. In that here we've got Ian who wants to start a business, and he's wants sort of 4 season because it's ATVs and snow machines and stuff. And then we've got power been put in along Auto Merrill. And I don't know, when I talked to Walter said that several of the parcels, large ones, 400 or 500 acres south of the town forest, are owned by LLC with an address in Florida. So it just potentially, with the power line come in there, it really could change things in that part of town in terms of the amount of traffic and what goes on. Obviously, there's a lot going on with the sugar bush at the top of the hill at Oxbow. But I just think that in general, we should be aware of that, because it's gonna change the nature of that, whether those power lines go into, one McMansion or a 10-house subdivision or whatever. There's gonna be a lot more activity up there, and it's one of the more expensive, I would think, difficult roads to maintain. But just, I guess I can kind of see it coming from a planning situation, that there's gonna be more development there in that one part of town. It's not easy to get to and costs a bit of money to keep the road going.
Well, that certainly would trigger a review and, This is already set up to be reviewed annually, so.
Tim has a new hand.
Tim, you got another hand up?
How many hands does he have?
Second.
Yeah, sorry. Peter's absolutely right. I was talking to a forester 25 years ago who did a lot of work along the Otto Merrill, and he said very bluntly, it's probably it's gonna probably develop into some of the most desirable properties in Royalton, right? It's only a matter of time. Peter's correct. In which case, this road's gonna change quite a bit. Somebody's gonna come in there because the value is high enough right now to improve that road to get it taken over. So it's gonna impact a lot of things like our road crew and everybody else.
Those
I'm-
property owners would be responsible for upgrading it to a class 3.
Right, exactly. And then getting approved by us and the
Yeah.
road crew foreman.
Yeah.
My second question is from, because I'm not very, I'm technically challenged. I'm just wondering if there's some sort of an app that can show how many people are actually using it now versus this change. I know people who just went on hikes today. And it's very detailed feedback of, where they went, how far they went and everything else. Is that something that's available or in place or whatever? I don't know. I'm just asking because I'm old and I don't know any better.
You'd have to upload that information and it would be voluntary. It's nothing is tracking people. That I know.
We're talking for ATVs or hiking or.
What he's talking about.
Yeah, we'd have to do like a survey or something and, try to survey our members or survey VASA. VASA is trying to do surveys every year when people sign up and do their TADs, like how many networks did you ride? How many miles do you think you rode in Vermont in a given year? I don't have those statistics, in my brain offhand, but they're trying to just barely skid into tracking, kind of at that higher level now. But short of me sending out an email to like say my members list or my list would be or have a QR code at the kiosk to say, hey, check like a sign in, sign out. I know like the US Forestry Service tries to have a sign in, sign out binder at all the trailheads when you walk in, but all the trails that I've hiked this year, the pages are, 4 years and messy and waterlogged and no one pays attention to like that. So anyways, I mean, short of, we could do a visitor log and see what happens, but I think that probably just end of year survey would be, the best to try to capture it.
Well, they are starting to track EVs, EV cars, so if the EV, ATVs, maybe there's
It's, believe it or not, it's coming.
Yeah.
So Polaris actually in Minnesota has started putting in, they're basically Connex boxes that are pre-set with chargers and solar panels. So for folks that have the EV side by sides, the problem is right now you only get about 110 miles of riding out of them in a charge. So depending on where you are, it can be, you could get stuck without a charge. But anyways, they're coming. It's similar to automobiles, that the movement for, zero emissions is realized there as well.
Let's get back on the topic of the ordinance. Have we got any other discussion about
Well,
the ordinance itself?
I will say in terms of enforcement, I was speaking to Loretta about other stuff today, and I asked her specifically about this, and she said that it would be correct to say from her perspective that she has no specific objections to this, but she also has zero level of enforcement of this, because there's just no way for her to, for our folks to even patrol that road, so.
Typically, ATV patrols are done by Fish and Game.
No, I had her on the phone and I asked her about it.
Yeah, cause they got all of ATV.
Contracts with the sheriff's departments as well, aren't there?
Yeah,
Windsor County now has a 6-seater side by side that they're doing patrols, and there is a pretty hefty budget for clubs to request the sheriffs to come. And I've talked to them at the Tunbridge Fair and, talked to them about being able to come. And same thing, actually, in the future, there's something that actually anyways, lots of different stuff, but yes, they could come do patrols, and they're more than happy to do like a safety day or come do a visit or even a ride along, and and or if we can schedule another safety seminar with the youth like we did last year,
Mhm.
and have them come and be present. Let them know that they aren't the bad guys to run away from. It's, do the right thing, and there's,
and then you
and
don't have to
everybody
run.
gets along.
Yeah.
Well, how about we take a vote, see if we want to pass this motion?
I'd like to specify that the map is deleted from the
In the,
incorrect map.
the incorrect map is
in the
deleted.
line in section
Or
D,
strike the map from the,
in
Yep.
section D where it says see the map, take that out too.
Or do you want to add a map?
Or we can change the map. I mean, it specifically says in there, see map, so that you can update the map without having to
Okay.
go back and update the ordinance.
but we do have a proper map.
We do have a proper map,
Okay,
yes.
just as long as
So the proper map
the proper map and
is
not,
attached. Yeah.
not the current attached version.
And are we looking at 20 miles an hour on that section? Is that what it was?
Yeah, 20,
20?
20's
No,
way fast.
That's too fast. That's so fast.
We just wrote it the other day, and I mean, 10 or 15 is fine, but I mean,
It says
I don't-
20 in here.
does it say 20?
Yeah.
I think 20, again, this kind of goes to some of the defaults of whatever, but we're more than open to, if we can put 10 or 15 on it, cause then that way if someone does get clocked doing 15, I'm not opposed to it.
Do you have a motion to amend now that you would like to offer?
No, but go for it.
You seem very,
Well, 20 miles an hour is too fast.
what do you think is reasonable?
I guarantee you people can do 20 on a mountain bike on that road.
But if they
In
were 10
sections.
mile an hour limit, they'd have time to enjoy what they're riding through.
I'm not gonna dig, yeah, exactly, I'm just saying in perspective, but
I'm just
fine with
thinking
that.
like, if you are gonna be passing horses, let's just say, like. I know people going by my house when my kids are out there at 20 miles an hour, I don't like it.
Proper
And-
etiquette, if we met horses, is to pull over, stop. and let
Exactly.
them go. That's
And,
proper etiquette.
The trail is open to four-wheel drive vehicles as well.
yeah,
So, there's no.
okay,
speed-
fine, 20,
There's
go
no
for it.
speed
I don't-
limit
whatever you guys think.
imposed on them.
I just think if I see somebody doing 20, I would say, oh, I can't think.
Well, no,
If there's-
this is still a discussion
there's
now.
10
If you,
people-
if you
if
think
there's
20 is too
10
fast. and
people
you'd like to
going by at
suggest
20
something
miles
else.
an hour, that sounds like a lot of. That's too much, right? I don't know.
I
So-
mean, if you're in a vehicle, the minimum speed limit on a Vermont dirt road is 25.
Yeah, exactly, too fast. I'm gonna change that too right now.
I had a petition going. for that at
One thing at a time now.
I think we might want to consider opening this up to test it out and see how it goes.
Yeah,
And, if it turns out that 20 miles an hour is too fast, then maybe next year we change it.
Sounds like a plan.
Or we could meet in the middle and we could amend it right now to 15.
I'm with you. Amended to 15 miles per hour maximum.
I'll second that.
Okay, and all those in favor of amending, of the amendment? Say aye.
All right,
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Yeah, the ayes have it. We're gonna change that to 15. And now we have any more discussion on I think we already asked this, any more discussion on the ordinance itself? Aside from taking the map out or replacing it with a better map.
It have a limit of number of vehicles in the group. Or
No.
should there be? I
There
mean,
was a
would you
discussion.
would you want 10 side by sides, or is 6 a kind of better? I mean, how much do you anticipate?
So. I mean, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
I think that it's one of those things that I can show you what the Autumn Road looks like right now after over 200 Jeeps using the Autumn Road 2 weekends ago
On a super
with
dry
the,
day?
with the pilgrimage. And vehicles weigh twice as much with a lot higher ground impact. You wouldn't even be able to tell if there was a difference. Now granted, yes, it was a dry season, things were beneficial for that. It's really hard to say, like what, so this is one of those things like. I mean, we can come up with very brilliant worded legislature. But at the end of the day, if 12 cars are in a row going over the road, is that a violatable offense? I mean, and or for what benefit are we trying to get? I mean, if trucks, Jeeps, dirt bikes and everybody else can already go over that, what bit of trampling of vegetation or any potential damage of water bar controls are gonna happen? So then it's just one of those things, does it really make sense to say? Oh, you had 7 vehicles in the line, that was one too many, and I'm just trying to be rational. That's all.
I hear you.
And yes, it was discussed and. Again, I like practical legislature. I don't know if that's something that's really.
It's a good goal.
Okay, let's vote on the accepting the ordinance. All those in favor of accepting the ordinance with the changes?
I,
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 No.
No. Okay.
I say it with hesitation. I'm not a fan of recreational ATVs. I respect Ian and his group. I know they're gonna police it. But the town did vote down an ordinance very much like this, and I think we need to respect the voters. But I wish you great success. I hope it works.
Thanks.
I think the
I appreciate what you're saying, John. I appreciate your vote.
key difference here is it's a single
It's
road.
a single limited road. I realize that, yeah,
And I did get, I don't know, Carmen verified over 106
yeah.
signatures, but I had like 100.
Yeah.
I mean, also, when you adopt an ordinance, the public has a right
Has a
to
right to-
petition to repeal.
which they
So
did
this
last
is- this
time.
is Not, you know, the select board, like, yes, you're adopting the ordinance, but the public still has a right. to
They're
petition
still-
to
yeah,
repeal.
yeah.
And when I publish this and say, we've adopted this ordinance, here's the ordinance, I also have to publish, you have a right to petition to
Yeah.
repeal, that's
Yeah.
part of how it works, so.
no, but I understand what you're saying. I hesitate also for me that the biggest difference is that this is a class 4 and not
Yeah.
a class 3.
Yeah.
I will be honest that I cannot see a scenario where I will be in favor of a class 3
Mhm.
ordinance.
Yeah. No, I hope it works out for you, Ian.
Thanks.
Well, I appreciate that you're so dedicated to it and that you're. You know, you're passionate about it and you care about this town, so I'm just hopeful that like everything goes great. And that, you know, people can go hiking on Oxbow, people could maybe ride a horse. And ATVs and bikes can be on there, you know, hopefully it all works out.
I would like to put on next meeting's agenda, that we review the floodplain ordinance in the same light and have the select board review and approve it or disapprove it. I don't know why we're handling the two ordinances differently.
Oh,
I'm with you.
I've written a note for the next agenda, that's
Okay.
it, that's
Okay,
the end of it, that's
that's
not
the
on
end of
the
the
agenda
discussion.
today.
Okay.
No, can't discuss it today. We can't take any action. But I think we should handle the ordinances both the same way. It's,
Well, in light of this discussion, I also think it becomes really important that, we take up the issue of subdivision regulations.
if the planning commission gives us something, we should.
Okay,
I don't know whether I'm for it or against it.
Okay, let's try to stay on topic here.
Always just jump.
Transfer station. Don?
oh. That's a reality check.
Oh, my goodness.
See you, Peter.
Useful with condensed some of that into the verbiage in here.
Hey, that's a
Thank you.
good job.
I'll reach out.
Okay.
See you at the next planning commission
I
meeting.
mean, I think
Bye, Peter.
that might be a
Thank you.
reason people do it, to enjoy the environment
Absolutely.
pretty well, so.
Well, I guess I'm gonna start by, I had an idea of changing hours or actually changing days. So if you're familiar with our Wednesdays, that's our contractor day. So everything we do on Wednesday, I'd like to switch to Thursday. So that kind of breaks up the week for us and everyone.
So would you flip Wednesday and Thursday? Would Wednesday then be a public day?
So then, because we're closed for 2 days and then we're open one day and closed another day. So I think if we're closed 2 days, open Tuesday, Wednesday. And then Thursday is just contractor day. Might be easier on trailers for the weekend as well.
And then the townspeople Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Tuesday,
Tuesday,
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
Friday.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday.
I don't have a problem with that.
You gonna have a grace period for the people that show up with their trailer on Thursday?
Right. Yeah, yeah, because if you approve it, I'll probably announce it soon.
Mhm.
And then implement it, like start the first of the year. Just to give people.
It started in January. yeah.
Just to give people time. Put up signs and all
I'll make a motion that operating hours be changed as of January 1st per John's recommendation.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? I'll wait till Tim gets back or
that.
the broke string.
Oh,
What do you have to do to be a contractor to come visit now? Just be a business ID or?
Tim, we got a motion on the floor, changing
It's also
the
like for-
operating hours for the transfer station on Wednesday and Thursday.
All I gotta
Flip
do is
them.
you'll come to the dump
So-
on Thursday now, or Wednesday or vice versa.
We're approving John's recommendation,
business
or
trip,
that's the motion is to
I'll
approve.
see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
We're opening the camp.
Oh, yeah, yes.
So, all those in favor of, any questions, Tim? Did you hear me?
Yeah, I heard, I got it. Is this am I correct to assume that this is to break up the week? Is it something you see day to day that contractors tend to come in on Thursdays? I'm just curious.
Oh, no, it has nothing to do with them, but like, when we're closed for 2 days and then open one day and closed another day. We see a lot more business Thursday, Friday into Saturday. And then sometimes when we're too busy, I can't get a trailer swapped on a Saturday, so. If we fill up, then I have open top containers, and once those are full, then I have to shut down.
Yeah,
So I figured if I'm open Tuesday and Wednesday, that'll give the public plenty of time to come during the week and then. And then a day off and then a Friday and Saturday.
How often does it happen that you get your trailers full?
Oh, quite often. Actually, our last contract with Casella, I had them leave me 3 empty roll-offs. So when our trailers fill up on a Saturday, then I could just throw a roll off on a truck, on the roll off truck and keep loading.
Mhm.
And then those roll offs can just sit there until Tuesday when I get a trailer swapped, and then we can dump the roll offs and load those.
I guess my thing is, John, you've done a really good job with transfer station. And if you see that this makes sense, like this takes a while for the public to get used to, right? It took a little while for me to pack up a bunch of things on Wednesdays to get there. I have no problem with it as long as there's like rationale behind it that's solid. And the fact that you can get containers, you'll have to shut down less. That's all I needed to hear.
But yeah, since I've gotten those containers, I haven't had to close early on a Saturday. But I just think if it kind of breaks up the week for everybody, you know, close 2 days, open 2 days, close the day, open 2 days.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday for public.
Okay, any other discussion on this? Hearing none, let's call a vote. All those in favor of taking John's recommendation to change the schedule? Say aye.
I,
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? The ayes have it. Okay,
I guess I'm a Christmas lights guy too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
You do a
Didn't
good job
recognize
with it.
costume.
that was so nice of Victoria to lump you
I
together.
left my other hat in the truck. So
Well,
Does it have lights on it?
you can.
So what do you want?
I haven't really thought about it.
Do you have to replace the lights every year or do you try
No, I
to
have
keep them?
lights, but it's always fun to add more.
Yeah,
We
And-
generally give John $500.
$500.
From the community betterment fund in case, so he can replace extension cords or replace strings of lights or add strings.
Last year I did buy all new extension cords, so I have those and.
I know they don't always get taken out of the trees.
No, they did.
They did this year.
Yeah, they're all sitting in my office.
Good.
That'll work.
I haven't gone to them yet, actually.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's easier just to replace the light
Yeah,
string than the bulbs, but
Yeah.
are cheaper anyway.
But yeah, so I'm just like take what I got and, cause I still have room, I mean, I can add lights, so,
So you might as well.
yeah, I like to try to,
so what, $500 enough?
yeah. Perfect.
Can we get you to put some at the Academy building?
That's pushing it.
How's 1,000 looking?
There's only one tree there.
Yeah,
It's gonna be well lit.
yeah, cause Jerry always cons me into going up to his house and doing his little trees, so.
Okay. Well, I make a motion that we approve 500 from the Community Betterment Fund for holiday lights.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
Yes, I was wondering if I could request that you get a different kind of light than the last batch you did. That was like, that they're very, like, they're all the same, like.
Oh, like solid colors?
Yeah, like maybe you get a solid color batches, like you used to do a couple of the trees, just all one color. Cause last year you got all those, they're very like stroby, you know, what I'm talking about, the light, the
Oh,
new.
Gazebo?
Yeah, I thought they were all the same though, weren't they? Like all the lights now are pretty much the same.
There was some interesting one that looks like drips coming down.
Oh.
That one.
I think that was a
Bicycle
couple
lights?
years ago.
Yeah,
Anyway, yeah,
I see.
I like this, I like just like the variety of having, sometimes you do one solid color, that looks really cool, like. I thought last year it was like the purple, white, green ones, they were all this,
Well, I
all
did,
the strands the same.
yeah, I did like one tree green, one red.
Oh, you did, okay, okay.
One or.
I thought you got a bunch of like new lights that were, and And then the other thing is, a couple of people have asked about the lights and like as interested, like being interested in participating maybe, or if there was ever like lighting ceremony thing, and I didn't know if you might be.
I mean, I'm open to help.
Yeah,
I mean, the ceremony, I don't know, I guess, I mean, I just kind of plug them in as I go.
yeah. No, I get that. I
During the
just,
day, and then at night, they're all.
yeah,
Oh, you and Tony and.
yeah,
It looks
Daisy,
nice.
I know, it's amazing. It's one of my favorite
I mean,
things in the
it's-
winter.
I don't know, I really haven't thought about it, cause it used to be something like Paul Whitney and I.
Yeah.
did,
Yeah,
And, you know, we'd spend a Sunday there and do the lights and.
Yeah,
And then, you know, he stopped doing it, and that's when Daisy stepped in and. I'm open to help.
it's really awesome and it's very
I
cool.
like being behind the scenes, I don't really. need to
you don't,
participate.
Yeah.
you don't want to do the party.
You don't wanna get up on the podium and make a speech.
Yeah, Santa
I
Claus,
don't,
Mayor Royalton,
yeah.
the light king.
Well, no, you could be the light mistress. You could do the, you
yeah,
could
no,
lead the
no,
lighting
no,
ceremony.
that's not what I'm saying, I just. At all.
You
I'll
guys-
approve I'll approve the allocation if John wears a tutu and speaks in public.
Oh, no.
I hope you mean John Layton.
I think he did initially. I was looking at you.
Yeah.
Odd request, but
I'm already a lightning rod.
I think we better move on here.
Yeah.
Let's get this vote, votes on the floor.
Okay.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 And
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any
Aye,
opposed? Ayes have it.
Or let me know, like, for getting more help, I mean. So yeah, usually it's like all of a sudden I'm driving my parents, I'm running later, and I'm like, oh crap, they're.
Yeah, he
I mean,
already
they're-
did it,
they're
yeah.
like, or they're like, yeah, they're 7 trees down and, you know,
I'll
5
try to
to
do it the
go.
weekend after Thanksgiving.
Weekend after Thanksgiving, so like that Sunday after Thanksgiving or the weekend after
No, the
Thanksgiving.
Sunday after, Days
Okay.
doesn't like to help, it was the last day.
Joseph Smith is
But-
the day after Thanksgiving.
I mean,
If
would
they
you
did
be
everything.
okay if we went so far as to like do an official town post on the Facebook, like in the
Yeah.
Silver
If
Open
there's a
billboard, say
specific
this is when it's
reason why.
happening, if you wanted to help, come out.
Yeah.
Or do you not want that much help?
Yeah, it's
Some
one of
kind
those-
of
that's
help
one
you
of
can
those,
put
like,
it out.
I know, and I get it, that's why I'm asking.
Probably
It's like-
I mean,
weather
I don't know.
dependent too.
Depends if they're gonna be helpful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
We
there's no
can
guarantee.
post a request for volunteers
Okay.
and ask people to send interest.
And then you can just, yeah, let them know whether or not.
I mean, it's lovely that you do it, and it's like the light elves happen and then it's all lit up, but it would also be cool if it was, you know, if there was involvement.
Mhm.
So I can see both. I mean, I like when it just appears too,
Right.
Yeah.
like it's magic.
Do I have anything else for the dome?
I don't think so.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Oh, just a quick update, the leachate tank's still in production.
Mhm.
I called him today, he's gonna find out hopefully tomorrow and. So we're just kind of waiting on that still. But once that's done, we'll get it in the ground and our certification will be put to bed for another 10 years.
Good.
I actually do have to amend the certification because for the hour change, but. That's nothing difficult.
Yeah.
But that's a leachate tank update.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Anyone here from the PD?
No, I have been empowered to speak on Loretta's behalf.
Okay, we'll do that.
I'm hoping you all had a chance to review the policies that were sent in emails. These are policies that are, the template is from
Pretty
VLCT.
boilerplate, isn't
It's
it?
boilerplate, it's from VLCT, that's where she got them. With minor tweaks, and so Loretta's hope is that we were just able to approve them. As presented.
I read them and they're reasonable, but I thought there was one area where it talks about, you know, if they misbehave, it reflects badly on the police department. I think we ought to add, it reflects badly on the town,
On the community.
on the
Yeah.
community. Make it, because when a town cop misbehaves, it reflects on us. More than on them.
Well, it's
But it all-
both,
it all
it's
makes
both,
sense,
but it
yeah.
is, yeah.
It'd be clear to say, and the town of Royalton. But I figured it all boilerplate thing, then.
Yeah, but I think if that's a minor wordsmithing, issue that you would just like,
I mean, if we're going for minor wordsmithing. Got a couple, but one is just the end of what? Accountability, responsibility, discipline.
where is that now, so I can. follow along?
Page. I'm trying, there's no page number on here, so. I'm
Yeah,
trying-
there's no-
At the
no.
bottom, yeah, but, well, if you have it open in Word, it says
Number
page
three.
X of 3 of 9.
Doesn't have it on there. Oh, page 4,
Okay,
okay, sorry,
oh, accountability, responsibility, and discipline,
E,
E,
yeah, I mean,
okay,
notify, as soon. The last one,
so that's
Phil
3,
should
3 E.
notify them as soon as possible, seems kind of willy-nilly, I don't know if there's. That,
Would you prefer something like immediately?
yeah, that's a better word.
Okay.
And is there some way to say that? I mean, this is not the place to talk about. If you're charged with something, you can't get paid by our town, like, is this not the place?
That's
for
covered
that?
in personnel policy, I think
Yeah.
that's a separate,
That's what I was thinking.
yeah. And let's see, where is it?
No, I think at that point, we're going on the advice of our lawyer. Right,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I
and there's a
don't
whole-
think we need to,
No, there's a whole process, yeah.
yeah.
So John, are you looking at,
This is in one of the earlier.
where it says, conduct on becoming an officer, is that what you're thinking of? Or is it earlier? than
Yeah,
that?
someone's in that area. Yep. At the first page,
This is,
yeah,
that's 3, page 3. Do you think it was
it was
even
early
earlier?
on. These are sort of definitions of what they're doing.
Right,
I don't care. There was just some ways where it's. Yeah, this thing, yeah.
so. 4, 2. Section 4. Which is procedures, number 2, conduct unbecoming an officer. Would you just like to add, tend to bring this agency and community into
Yeah.
disrepute?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, we can insert. Is someone trying to speak?
Don't see
I
it.
think it was
Okay.
chocolate.
Okay. Any other suggestions, corrections, discussions? Um, So inserting those 2 changes into the policies. I'd like to, I'll move that we adopt these policies as amended.
I'll second
Here.
that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Water froth.
Yeah.
We were doing
so-
well right up until now.
We're still doing fine. I sent the board, I did talk to 3 companies about the water trough. The first one I talked to told me hire an engineer, let the engineer tell you what to do with it, and then get back to me, and I'll tell you what it's gonna cost. The second company was, the Granite Corp out of Barry, who sent the,
We had to pay.
no,
Oh, no. Okay.
the Granite Corp out of Barry who sent the quote that the minimum we'd be looking at for them to do anything with it would be $25,000. Which did not include replacing any granite, it was just patching it up the best they could.
No engineering.
No engineering required, right?
Okay.
And then the other quote that I sent to the board was from the folks out of Northfield, which was the one that we paid the $250 quote fee to. And their recommendation was that they could remove the water trough, cut out the back portion that is badly cracked and was previously repaired with concrete, blend a new piece of stone onto the back, polish the stone so it looks as close to being still just one piece, and then bring it back. And the total cost on that, I believe, was about $7,000 to transport it and do the work and bring it back. It's up to the board what you would like to do with it. I did contact our insurance company. That particular piece is property in the open and it is not listed on our property schedule. But they are happy to subrogate and try to recoup costs from the driver. They will do that once we have, you know, an
A plan
invoice
of action.
and a plan of action to be able to work on the piece.
So to recap, those 3 options are hire an engineer and then come talk to us.
Yep,
25 grand
yep, minimum.
minimum. Or fix the previous patch and the current thing blending in all for like 7 grand.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if we could get the thing out in the open to be added as something that's covered by insurance, because it gets hit all the time.
you could, but in my opinion, it's probably not a cost benefit to do that.
So it'll be better to.
Go after the car drivers.
Go after the driver, yeah.
Why wouldn't we start there? Can I ask? Am I missing something?
Why wouldn't we start right?
Covered property in the open is assessed a fee to be covered property in the open, and what, like. Okay, yes, it'll cover your property, but if somebody really hits it and it's smithereens, like. You'll get a replica, I guess. It, like, if the board wants to, it's renewal time, I'm happy to do that.
No,
Um,
correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, I think your question is, why wouldn't we start with the driver instead of our own insurance anyway?
Right, that is my question. Thank you.
Okay,
yeah, so the insurance company still would subrogate, but it's a difference of, I tell VLCT, hey, this got broken, they go, okay, great, here's a check. And then they deal with the subrogation on the back end of things, for going, hey, VLCT, can you try to get something, and they see what happens.
With the cemetery fence that was fixed, did that come from the town insurance or the car?
That came from the town insurance.
Mhm.
Our insurance company, again, probably subrogated to the driver's insurance
Yeah.
company, but we don't get that information from the fact,
So we don't know if they got it from the driver.
right?
They're the ones who deal with
That's-
that.
That's part of the service, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, and I think if I'm following this conversation correctly, that's not really an option here, because it's not currently listed.
it is not currently listed as property in the open. So we have listed as our property in the open, like the baseball dugouts. Both the gazebos on the green, the timber frame at Carpenter Field, the playgrounds, like that kind of stuff is listed as property in the open, but not the water trough.
And we didn't have a cemetery fence listed.
Has
so-
that been,
Is
Yeah.
on, yeah,
can we change that to include the water trough in the future?
you certainly could if you would like to do that.
Get a quote for it.
Yeah, did they hint at what?
No, I
That's
mean,
it.
I can ask,
Yeah.
like, it's one of those things.
Yeah, I
where-
mean, obviously, it's not urgent at this moment, but maybe if we knew what that option would cost.
Sure.
Well,
Going
it's gonna
forward.
be a repaired thing that is gonna be significantly less than the $50,000 that the
Right.
original would have cost.
Yeah, well, I think we're having two different discussions right now at the same time, which is about fixing this one and about.
I mean, you're
having
also
insurance.
put it back
Right.
into the middle of the road, so the liability that.
Well, it's gonna be outside.
Might be kind of high because it has a substantial risk of being struck by a vehicle, demonstrably so.
A rough analogy would be a driver who already had 5 accidents trying to get insurance as opposed to one, yeah,
Yeah, somewhat.
yeah.
Well, I think we're kind of stuck in the situation of we have to do something and,
Yeah.
I would say we do.
So-
this.
The second option is to be more historically appropriate.
Yeah, so I don't know how closely you've looked at the water trough lately. I have some photos on my phone, but there's the front side that has the engraving that says that it's from, the Women's Society, the Civic
Right.
Society. And then there's the back side, which has no engraving, but has like all of the structural damage, a crack that they think probably goes all the way through, like a U shape. And then the
Right.
bottom of the piece was repaired at some point with concrete that has chips, like granite chips in it. And it's visibly concrete. So their suggestion was that backside, I mean, they could work on it, but it's really unfixable. Their recommendation was just to take that piece out, replace it with as close of a match to the granite as they can get. And make it look like one new uniform piece, but in the same, it'll preserve the front. And add a new back piece that will make it a nice piece.
That will be granite.
It will be granite, yes, and the company owner came down with his artisan craftsman and they looked at it and noodled around about it and said, I think this is what we should do. If you want it to last another 100 years, that was their recommendation. Otherwise, they were very concerned that with the amount of cracking that exists, there wouldn't be any way to prevent water intrusion. And it would
Right.
just end up.
Freezing thaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if somebody brought the artisan down, I'm in favor of their recommendation. The set of eyes, professional eyes were put on it, really goes a long way with me.
So is that a motion, Tim?
Sure, yes.
I'll second it.
Okay, so the motion is to go with the artisan,
The $7,000.
seven
The
grand.
recommendation, yeah.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
So they're gonna take the basin, the round part.
they're gonna,
They will take,
away.
yeah, so they're gonna leave
Leave
the
the
base
base
piece,
part,
they're
yeah.
not gonna touch that, we'll deal with that when we go to do the sidewalk project, they're
Yeah.
just gonna take the basin
Mhm.
and repair the
and
basin.
repair it
And bring it back,
and
And
bring
they
it
will bring
back
it
and
back,
set it.
but we'll still have the base part there in the road.
yes, yeah.
Any opposed?
I'm surprised it's that low, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah,
I was also very surprised.
Yeah, but
thus,
seems kind of reasonable, so.
Well, it seems the other one seems kind of high, so.
And it's work that they can do inside, like in the shop through the winter, so it,
Yeah,
maybe that had a factor in the
Yeah.
cost.
did they hazard a guess as to how long it would be?
They did not, but I will ask them, when
Okay.
I contact them to make arrangements and sign an agreement.
Yes.
Is there a reason why like this thing couldn't get built into one piece? Like, I know it may not like be wise, but. We're just thinking about it, like, we can put like some lift rings in it and make it as one piece, so like. It gets removed every December or something before plow season. And then put back, I mean,
So
I'm just trying to think about weights and stuff like
No,
our machine should be able to pick that, I mean, that can't be more than, 15,000
as
pounds.
part of the Chelsea Street sidewalk project, there's gonna be bump outs on the bottom side of the block and a pedestrian way station
Okay.
halfway across that bottom portion of Chelsea Street. And the water trough will go into the pedestrian way station on the
Great.
backside, so it'll be a more clear,
Okay.
traffic goes on either side, four-way stop.
Okay,
Hopefully reduce
Your
the
cost
number of
runs down.
impacts.
I don't think it's the plow that does the damage most of the time, the plow does hit it. but-
They-
definitely got
Granite
this,
curbing sometimes.
whoever did,
Yeah, they do sometimes catch the granite curbing, but they've never hit the trough.
the trough itself, gotcha.
Yeah.
The cars that, or trucks that hit the trough itself are the ones that are doing the damage.
Yeah.
So,
I think that if, when we do the sidewalk project, we should have an engraving that says, if you hit it this time, you're screwed. On the backside. We're going out of our way.
all right, we get a motion that
John,
is halfway through.
are we still discussing then? Or can I ask, I just wanted to ask John, you totally think that this is a good
It's
idea?
the way of repairing it, yeah.
As the best way to repair it, to get
Yeah.
rid of half of the,
Get rid of the
Trough.
cement part.
Yeah,
Put it
getting rid
back.
of the cement part would be nice.
so that is actual cement.
It is,
Yeah.
it is cement
Yeah.
in the back, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Apparently
if we
got
can have
cracked
a
with the
granite
bonfire.
piece, yeah.
And find it with more flowers that hang down.
And they're gonna clean it and polish it
Yes,
and then haul it back and then 2026 we move
Yep.
So where
it.
are we on the
Hopefully for
motion?
last. Yeah,
All those in favor?
live.
Do we start over with the motion? Or do we? Did anyone,
I don't think there was amendment. I mean, Tim.
no, there's no amendment, but we got interrupted
Okay.
in the vote, so. It
Sure.
was, all those in favor say aye.
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 There's three. And any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. Okay, ARPA funds.
yes,
Discussion.
as promised, you guys have ARPA funds that have to be spent. By the end of December, and spent means really spent, not just this is what we're going to spend it on. So,
So that, I had a couple of questions on that.
yeah,
And one is, the Health Hub dental trailer is in for 25 grand. Will that actually be spent by the end of December?
so there's a couple of factors at play on that one. So the Health Hub dental trailer was initially approved for $50,000 of ARPA funding. They've drawn down 25,000 of that. They still have 25,000 left. The board has given them the green light to install the necessary electric receptacle for the trailer, and their intent was to use the rest of their ARPA funding to fund that project.
Is that $25,000 worth of work though?
It may not be,
Mhm.
but they're within their right to say, we don't need it, or the select board's within their right to say, hey, you haven't spent this and it's going elsewhere. The town of Royalton when they initially gave everyone their ARPA funding, part of the deal was that you had to say like what you were going to use it for. And the town of Royalton claimed all of their ARPA funds as replacement for lost revenue. So worst case scenario, if the health hub does not spend their $25,000 and it's December 20th, the board can motion to utilize whatever remaining balance of ARPA funds to pay staff salaries. It goes into the general fund or the highway fund to pay for salaries, and the ARPA money is spent.
Okay,
And so we're covered. It won't be clawed back. So, yes, you've got some options.
okay.
If the health.
We have some options and we
does not-
have a couple of months.
Yes, yes.
To make those decisions.
And I will reach out to them and see if they have a timeline.
Let them know, yeah.
I did talk with them back in August, like, hey, because when we initially gave them the allocation, the board had said, we'd like to see you fully spent by the end of September.
Right.
So they are kind of already past when they were supposed to send it and spend it, and they're aware of that. But I will check in with them and update the board.
And all
Yeah.
the other ones are spent.
Yes, so all of the other, these are the
Yeah.
expenditures that have already happened.
The rescue building is, what,
The rescue building, the select board gave the rescue squad $25,000 toward the architect fees. For the building, each of the three towns gave $25,000 of their ARPA funds to pay for the architect.
So we have 62, almost 63,000 left.
That was my second question is remaining ARPA and current cash
Yes,
balance.
so we're allowed to earn interest on your ARPA funds, and I allocate the interest every single month to your ARPA balance, so that's why there's a difference between what we were originally awarded and have spent and what the current cash balance is. You've
Okay.
got some interest in there.
Yay.
Well, I know Walter keeps saying he needs a new
Tractor.
tractor for sidewalk snow removal.
Mhm.
Is he able to get that before the end of the year?
he's,
Maybe, but also if we have a purchase agreement and a purchase price, that counts.
So
It
that-
does
oh, it
Because
does.
it's a contractual agreement,
Okay,
that counts as spent.
That's right around
he won't be
50,000.
able to test it on
can,
new sidewalk.
no,
No.
not for a while, but can we make a note to self to have Walter back, next time to talk about the tractor again?
Yes,
Cause he says the current one won't last the winter.
That was
he
his
told me
threat.
today it might, but we'll find out in the spring, because I
Yeah.
did ask him. this morning, and he said, they've done work to it,
That's-
it's okay right now.
That is oh so reassuring.
Depends
Yeah.
how many parts.
Kept
are
breaking
finding.
down all winter, so.
Because if memory serves, the available spend is in the ballpark of what he was threatening us with for the cost of the
Like
tractor.
50,000 or something.
Yeah, so.
Victoria, can I ask at the 11th hour, if it's not spent, can we put it towards the principal on the grader?
No. You are not allowed to spend your ARPA funds on any pre-existing debt. You are not allowed to put it into a reserve fund directly. You would have to turn it into surplus. And then the voters could choose to spend the surplus on what the board recommends.
So what we could have done in hindsight is devote some of that money to the grader when we voted to buy it,
You could,
but now we can't.
correct.
But coming up on the agenda,
Double check the rule, But
Okay,
I'm fairly certain.
that's fine. And that kind of makes sense. Coming up is, I don't know if there's any cost involved with renewing our Act 250 permit for our gravel pit, but could it be applied to something if there was?
Yes, as long as we have a contract in place before the end of the year.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
And a couple other big things on his list was a shelter at the library for trash. Wood frame thing on the end of the building toward the fire station. Han had some design. He was getting prices on,
like a little enclosure to keep critters out or?
yeah.
Yeah.
They have a plastic one that keeps getting broken.
Yeah, didn't make it through the first winter, I don't think. They want a shed that is like. One side is up against the building and the roof slopes away from it.
Okay.
And it sounds reasonable to. They don't have any storage in the building,
No, it was
small closet, I think, but.
So we just need specifics so we can actually devote that amount to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So will you email Walter to ask him about the tractor, like that he's gonna go looking for?
get the contract in, yeah.
Yeah.
how many
looking for-
quotes do you want for a charger?
Should have 3, don't we usually?
Well, the
We
one you
usually
mentioned-
try for 3. I mean, we did recently buy a Kubota. For the sewage treatment plant. So that, I mean, that cost is still pretty fresh. I believe that was about 37,000.
The tractor he mentioned is a kind of a rare beast though, and
It was articulating.
I don't think you're gonna get 3 dealers in New England for it or even below.
No, well, and I don't think his intent is to purchase an articulating tractor. I think his intent would be to purchase a similar sized
Okay.
to the existing, with the hope that the implements would be interchangeable,
Oh, that's
which will
good.
bring the cost down.
Okay,
Our best estimate from talking with the designers for the sidewalk project is that we should be able to make the corners with the existing tractor. And if not, somebody will be pushing a snowblower.
just on the corners.
Right.
I think that would be Walter.
Yeah, I know nothing about equipment. I don't know, does Ian know anything about them? What would, any recommendation what they need? I don't. Walter isn't an equipment guy.
Yeah, I mean, the
Does he
existing
talk to-
tractors served us well for
Yeah.
like 12 years now.
Well, his concern was the ramps.
The ramps,
The
yeah.
ramps go up, then they have to be able to turn to get closer to the doors and, the tractor he showed me was, yeah, articulating and it had special attachments, but that was back in June, so. Now it's different,
We've moved on from that.
different story,
Okay.
so.
I would like to have a conversation separate of this, when this gets decided, about having some of our high school students help maintain like the green and the sidewalks a little bit for tidiness in lieu for a stipend for like the National Honor Society or a team or something. That's a conversation for down the road. I just want to throw it out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
That program was working well, and then the person at the school who was partnering with us on that, left. the
Oh, Mary
school,
Waterman,
And we
yeah.
just haven't been able to get it going again.
So here's the budget.
Sure. I have the cemetery commission budget. They had their regular meeting. Kim, can you see the budget now? Thank you. Cemetery commission, there it is, 117. So the cemetery commission's budget, their bottom line is an increase of $11,200. They have some cemeteries that they expect to be doing additional maintenance on, taking down larger trees, doing some stonework in them. There's also a couple of cemeteries, Pleasant Hill and Riverview, that do have endowments. They have investment accounts, but the dividends from those investment accounts are not supporting the full needs of the cemetery. So rather than asking for principal drawdowns on those, they were looking to ask for the town to support those a little bit through the general fund, just to supplement those investments and allow them to continue to grow. But if you have other questions about the cemetery,
I
I'd
imagine
really be
that,
happy to meet with you.
I imagine that will likely turn into ongoing support. If their endowments are not supporting them now.
It may, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
a year or
Well-
two, a year or two is probably not gonna make,
probably not. And I mean, there's cemeteries like Haven Cemetery has, a $50,000 investment. That they're working on growing, so that one will probably always be town supported. It's like that in Tunbridge as well. Where there are cemeteries with endowments, but we also support them through general fund.
so is it? Does that increase? Anticipate that they're contributing all of what they're generating and then need support beyond that, or asking to hang on to everything it generates in hopes of?
No, so
making it-
we do receive dividends down from the investments.
Okay,
These two in particular, just the dividends are not enough. And Pleasant Hill and Riverview are the more active
okay.
cemeteries. Some of the more active ones.
What's the yearly increase? That 11,200?
11,200, which, is just under half a penny on the tax rate at the current rent list.
So what was it last year? I'm having trouble.
So, in FY 25, their total budget was 16,900. And the proposal for FY 26 is 28,100. And honestly, most of that driving cost is just that the maintenance has gotten more expensive
Mowing,
as fuel costs have gone up.
yeah.
And some
so-
big trees in some of those cemeteries.
And the big trees,
Yeah.
and the stonework is part of it
Yeah.
also. Does anybody have other budget needs for this evening? We still have a lot of budget left to write.
I'll try to meet with you in the afternoon tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been kind of tied up with the bridge deck job and kind of follow up with the line painting. I'll come in. I have met with Demi and we did part of it, but we didn't do all of it.
Yeah, well, we have that half of the highway fund budget too. We looked at that last time.
Library's giving you their budget.
The library did give me their budget. I dropped in their appropriation number, I think.
They only went up a little,
Maybe it did just go up a very little bit.
3% or something.
Those are 108, I think. 109, yeah, 108. Yeah, so the library's appropriation request went up, $3,305.
Why is it in black? And Right.
So this column G is the FY 26 budget. This column H over here, what it's doing is it's subtracting the proposal for 26 from the budget for 25 to tell you what the difference is.
okay,
So because everybody else doesn't have a budget yet,
There.
it's showing as a decrease.
okay.
It's really helpful when you see all the red to know that there's a problem.
Yeah.
Need to go
Yeah.
Write that
Okay,
part of the
got
budget.
So all of those will eventually become black.
Yes, so these requests from the agencies tend to come in mid to late November. Some of them have already come in. Royalton's appropriation policy requires a petition for an increase for the organizations that are like outside organizations. So the folks like VT Adult Learning, Visiting Nurse Alliance, those kind of
Uh-huh,
not local organizations would need to petition if they want an increase according to our policy.
okay.
And then the other folks like the fire department, the library, the rescue squad, the town band. They usually will just send their appropriation request and say, hey, this is what our request is this year and this is why. And the
Mhm,
select board will put it into the
mhm.
budget.
Could you sent us a request from a new organization that wanted to be
I-
included?
Did, yes, I sent the board information that I received from Upper Valley Public Health Council, Vermont, New Hampshire Public Health Council.
Something,
And their letter kind of said, we know you require a petition, but we'd like you to consider putting this in the budget, and the board is welcome to do that. You know, if you would like to add an appropriation to the budget, that is your absolute right to do so. So that's why I sent that to you, because they did ask. And if you guys want to talk about that and do that, that's fine. It's up to you.
I think we were asking the other ones to petition for a big increase. We should ask them to petition for it too, but
What were they asking for?
I don't
around three,
even remember off the top of my head. I
3
apologize.
have an area. I can't get on the.
I think it was,
my
I think
emails.
it was about, I think you're right, it was sort of somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,000.
I don't know the organization and if it's
Yeah.
duplicates of anything else.
Yeah, I don't.
Why would they come to a meeting and try to explain themselves and ask?
Exactly, no.
I'm sure you could
Yeah.
invite them.
I have no interest in inviting them to give them $3,000, but if they wanted $3,000, I would say, come express yourselves, like, I say, don't put them on, don't put it on there.
I'm with you on that. We have no information like how much do
Yeah.
they pay their director, executive director, any of that stuff. It just seems
Yeah.
like an ask.
No, I agree. I. More from them. Who do they service in this area? Are they duplicating someone we already support?
Well, yeah, that's a lot of red. So that's
There's a lot of red,
lot of
yeah.
stuff.
There's,
Yeah.
I know the fire department's probably gonna come with an increase just because of some legislation surrounding OSHA. And most of the, if not all of the small fire departments across the state is kind of like weighing in, saying,
Mhm.
what are you trying to do to us? I know I've had a couple conversations with our chief, and he's also going to approach probably the law school about they haven't changed their contribution in like 15 years, and this could be significant. So just fair warning that Paul's probably going to come with a big ask out of his control.
And we usually see rescue and fire budgets the same time, like late November, early December is when they start getting kind of firm numbers. Ready for their annual meeting, which happens in January.
Carol Green told me that the town band was all set for next year, but we haven't gotten a budget from them yet.
She might have emailed it to me and I just didn't, haven't put it on
Yeah.
here yet. I usually go through towards the end, as we
Yeah.
get a little bit closer and I put in everything that I have.
Service things, yeah.
Request others, yeah. Otherwise, this town operations section, I left blank, because it includes things like your solid waste alliance fee, and we need to look at the transfer station budget to see if the board wants to think about changing solid waste alliance fees, or we're gonna keep them the way that they are and make up any difference through, changing the price schedule, which was our strategy last year, which seemed to work well.
I asked John about anything he needed in the to put in the budget, and did not come up with anything, so.
Yeah, John did
should
sit
be-
down with me, the other day, and we wrote his budget.
Is that the per capita fee we charge the member towns?
It is, yeah, so the transfer station revenue is, oh, geez, come on. Is made up of this alliance surcharge and then fees. So the alliance surcharge is what the town of Royalton charges to the towns who are members of the White River Solid Waste Alliance. Because waste management is fun in Vermont, and they call it the alliance, so you'd hear of like Central Vermont Waste, yeah, and it's just groups of towns that are organized, and that's how they deal with their solid waste implementation plan, their management of household hazardous waste, their education and outreach, all of that happens through that organization. In some places, it's very separate. And it's like, okay, here's the org, there's a member body, there's representation. That is not the case with the White River Solid Waste Alliance. It's kind of always just been Bethel and Royalton and the transfer station, and they deal with all of that. So anyway, long story short, that is the fee that the towns who are part of that alliance pay to the town of Royalton to operate the transfer station and manage the alliance and make sure that they're all in compliance with state law. And then the fees, which is based on use, it's just the fee schedule at the transfer station, which we based off of our cost for disposal, plus overhead.
Well, because we know the costs are going up. Minimum
Costs are-
wage is going up to $14 or something.
Yeah,
Oh.
and we will need to look at. What the fee schedule is, just because our Casella contract renewed, and that sort of thing, so I do need to check it. But it should be pretty close. Wages in the transfer station are flat. Because we have been carrying an extra, part-time regular position in that budget that John has not needed. He has not felt the need to fill it. He does not intend to fill it. He does have now that, part-time per diem that he can call in if he needs coverage. So even though this budget is flat, it includes a wage increase for the staff. But it drops out that part-time position. Medical insurance based on actual costs, your total labor expenses only went up by $7,600. Insurance number here is yellow just because we'll base it on actual cost once we get the renewal. There's additional insurance costs down here for facility operations. Again, it's all passive, we just split it out by what it's for. So the insurance up here in the labor section is for like your workers' comp, your employee related insurance, and then this insurance down here is just for your buildings and equipment. Total cost difference in your facility expenses is $83,000. That's your tipping fees. Because tip hauling has gone up under a contract. Maintenance of equipment is flat. John's been managing that really well. He did note that we should start looking into replacing these two pieces of equipment. He does kind of already have a new equipment budget at $15,000 a year. We don't have a reserve for the transfer station. That's something we should probably think about.
Probably should do one like we do for the highway. Equipment
Yes.
reserve,
I'm all in on that.
yeah,
That's an article question.
the
on
voters
town
gotta
meeting.
vote to approve that, yeah.
But otherwise, that's pretty much the transfer station budget. This, debt service principal is what we pay to the town of Bethel, to finish buying out their interest in the transfer station. And then depreciation, just because it's an enterprise, your buildings, property and equipment depreciates every year. So that is an expense in that category. Questions or concerns?
How much longer do we, before we pay Bethel, we're evened out?
This year was payment number 3, so we have FY 26 and FY 27,
2 more years
I believe, off the top of my head.
leftover ARPA money. Could that pay it?
You could, if you wanted to,
If there's any left,
yeah.
That's a
But
very
this
interesting.
Did already get, $125,000 of ARPA money to pay for the tip building. Because it was in a deficit after that, so we replaced its lost revenue due to the pandemic.
I like your angle, John. I'm not sure in the all of the things that we have,
yeah, there will be any.
that's the
leftover.
best use of it, but I like your thought process a lot.
And it's a balance with the transfer station. Because it's not only town of Royalton residents who use it, so there is kind of always that discussion about. What the rates are for people in member towns versus non-member towns. Anything further on the transfer station?
So other towns, member towns pay in, where's that number again?
So it's just bulked up here into this, 100,000. Royalton and Bethel, pay the highest. And then it's a per capita rate, I believe, but you'll have to forgive me, because I don't have it in front of me.
From Tunbridge,
It's not
Barnard?
Tunbridge,
Tunbridge
actually.
is independent.
Stockbridge.
I think there's
Rochester.
like 9 towns, yeah, Stockbridge, Rochester, Barnard.
What can that go up? Can we charge them more?
It could.
I think we should,
I think we should.
So,
really charge Tunbridge.
But-
The illegal ones who come in,
so Tunbridge is not a member town.
no, I know,
Um,
but to
And-
use it,
Well, and that's the argument
Yeah.
of not raising the alliance surcharge, because that
Yeah.
increases taxes to the towns. And some of the member towns may not even necessarily utilize our
Okay, so
transportation.
you don't wanna raise any feathers.
My
or
recommendation is
apples or
not
whatever.
to raise your alliance surcharge.
Okay,
It would
Because
be
for that
to,
reason,
it would be to focus on your fees, your usage
Mhm,
fees, and
okay.
make sure that your fees are in line with other transfer stations in the area, and also that you're just meeting your disposal costs plus your overhead when you set your rate schedule. And we haven't looked at it in a year, so it's probably time to look at it.
So an alliance town could withdraw.
Yes,
That's
and
okay.
an Alliance Town has withdrawn.
Hmm.
Because they got to the point where they're like, you know, it's not serving us, we pay this amount in taxes. Our residents say they don't use your transfer station, and they were willing to join a different alliance. And that's what they did.
One thing I do want to make it so it's not unaffordable for folks to do the right thing with their trash. I witnessed people burning trash. I was pretty shocked. It was right here in South Royalton. And I'm sure they would say that the rates are too high. So I just want to, like, that's another part of striking the balance. Or finding it on the road.
I mean, if you do witness people burning trash, it is a criminal offense in the state of Vermont. And you are welcome to telephone the fire department or Royalton PD to manage that situation.
I guess I understand that for our residents, especially because we're paying to be members of this facility more than any other members. And yet. People from. Like. Way far away are coming to bring their garbage to our dump.
Because we're cheaper.
Because we're cheaper, so we need to have a system in place. That they can charge those guys out the ass, like they need to pay.
I like the sticker idea or a membership.
Yeah,
If you're a member town, you get a certain rate, and if you're not,
If you're not, you
you
pay
get another
more.
rate. a different
yeah,
rate.
it's a different rate and it needs to be addressed, like, it's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, again, all options, you're welcome to have those discussions and figure it out. There's trade-offs to any choice that you make.
So how would we initiate that? Is that something that, too bad we didn't. Grab John when he was here, but like, how would we initiate making that membership distinction
Well, I think he's already been talking
on it?
about
Yeah, he
doing
did
something,
mention
but
it.
I'm not sure what his
So-
plan is.
The last time.
We revisit the fee schedule, no?
Right, and quite frankly, I mean, the last time that it was discussed was as we were transitioning the transfer station from joint ownership to sole ownership. And really, it's a big lift to be able to identify member towns, because it's not just Royalton and Bethel, it's 9 other towns that you would then need to be able to identify and deal with. You know, you're either purchasing special bags or special stickers or some other identification.
Yeah.
The labor goes on to the staff to try to identify those people and make sure they're charged them the correct rates. It's possible, but
Yeah.
there's a trade-off to everything.
Now we have the account system, which
Yes,
would make it much easier.
it would,
Because if
if
you're
everyone
registered-
was signed up for an account.
Well,
and
there's an
it was-
incentive right there.
Right,
If you've got an account, you get a better rate, and if you're from one of our towns, then this is the rate, and if you're not, then you get another rate, but. At least if you come in the door paying cash, you're gonna get charged the high rate. That's just the way it is. And if you've got a sticker or you got an account that's with the dump, then you already know that you're getting the best rate you can get. I don't know how else you do control it, because people can always lie.
Bring an ID.
No, but if you use the account system, you're already registered, you don't have to do it every time, you just give them your number. And sure, you could get somebody else's number, but, you know. There's a few cases.
I can see what works for others. I mean, like Hartford and Lebanon, like Lebanon specifically, like they've got someone there that. And if
Is looking.
if you're not from their town, like no, out, like,
Really?
And some
Okay.
towns use the punch cards, so I don't know if Hartford still does, but it was a pain, because you had to go to the town clerk, get the
Mhm.
punch card, and then go back to the dump, and it
Uh-huh,
was a pain.
yeah, like what you're
So-
saying, the trade-off, it's trade-off
Mhm.
but yeah, right now, we don't check
at all.
at all for where
Yeah.
you're coming
And
from.
there's
See what
big
town you're
loads coming sometimes, you know,
Well,
Yeah,
contractor loads.
right,
I mean,
but that's the
But-
argument for ensuring that your fee schedule
Right,
adequately
Because-
covers your disposal costs and your overhead.
that,
Because
yeah.
then it doesn't matter necessarily who's coming in. You keep your alliance fees lower, so your alliance fees are just covering the costs of your solid waste implementation management, which is your recertification, your outreach, your water testing.
I guess to interrupt you, I'm sorry, but I think what Tim was saying was that we've got to keep our fees reasonable so that people don't throw trash.
I would
People don't burn
encourage
trash.
you to look at what other people are charging for disposal fees. Casella just renewed the town's contract and we have not looked at our fee schedule in a year. I think you will find that as a transfer station, I'm not talking like Tunbridge, who just has 2 dumpsters and it's like you pitch your bag of trash or your recycling, but anything else you have to bring up to Montpelier. Like actual transfer stations that operate on that scale, their fees are much higher, even just over in Randolph.
Oh, I totally agree. Our fees should go higher, but I also agree, like what Ian was just saying, we should figure out a way to look at other towns coming in. There's,
Well, there's
Actually,
another way
we
to
should
get
figure that.
stuff out of the stream is to take stuff out of the waste stream that we can reuse, and we have shut down the free table at the dump, which was, you know, some people thought that was a great thing, and, you know, I understand some of the arguments, but, we certainly don't encourage that. And I think we could, you know, reusing building materials and all kinds of stuff that other people are taking advantage of using that, and. You know, and anything you take out of the waste streams is gonna help, but that's not part of this discussion, really.
Hey, folks, I don't know how long this is gonna go, but I'm gonna turn into a pumpkin here shortly. I've been up since like 3 in the morning. Can we move along, or if you don't mind, I'll bow out.
I do have some numbers from the treasurer's office. Do you have a space for those, or?
Sure do. What you got?
The only thing Rita has asked for new is she wants $1,500 put into maintenance, which would go into the, Dropbox. And it still needs to be a discussion, figure out, but I think it should be in the budget as far as, you know, if we can do it, put that in there.
So. If it's for the Dropbox, that should most likely go under buildings and grounds
what's the Dropbox?
or the town office building.
Right now, there's a Dropbox for the clerk's office, but not for the treasurer's office, and
Oh, you mean that slot,
to have
yeah,
a separate
slot.
one. Yeah, and she wants a separate slot because the money gets put in the wrong place, and it really shouldn't be handled that many times. So she has it under 1059 maintenance, but.
Yeah,
You know,
There's
that's-
not a maintenance category under the treasurer's office.
Everything else is pretty flat, except for. Your normal increase on wages or percentage.
You were gonna see the difference between the 2 slots.
Well, you need signage.
Yeah.
Dog licenses go here and tax payments go there.
Yeah.
well, also her budget is going up for her salary we talked about.
Wages.
Wages.
Well, hourly wages.
Right, so that's gonna be different, that's gonna look different, it's gonna like be pretty significant, maybe amount.
Yeah, okay, so this is, which one are you on here, 26 or 25?
This, we're writing the proposal for 26.
26, okay. This is 39 for the proposed
Wages.
For wages,
wages, yeah.
39,000.
And it was 33.
Yes,
What she was
Should
making,
have been 35 and 25.
it's 33.
33.
25.
so that's. That's the only amount that's going up after 6,000.
Well, you've got FICA goes up, but.
No, I just meant for the wages, just because it sounded like she was working, we were talking about way more.
She was not, she's working more hours than was scheduled for in the budget, so that,
Okay, this covers that.
this would cover that.
Yeah, okay. And I mean, there is no assistant wages.
No, but we talked about if we can find somebody, but I talked to her about that, she already knows. That it's something that it would be, you know, if we can find somebody to train them, it'd be good, but she doesn't have anybody in mind, we don't have anybody in mind.
But you wanna keep that in
I
there?
wanna keep it in there, yeah. In case we find somebody. That can fill in.
So when we talked, I mean, so. She does have dental insurance then, and. Medical insurance now, that's the other tricky part. because
Well,
when
it's a stipend, but it's prorated. So I just have to go pull the number, but I don't wanna pull up the spreadsheet of everyone's medical insurance in an open meeting, so I'll put that number in.
Okay, but I'm just
It'll be
saying,
around $1,500.
with those hours that went up, that was something we all talked about with the. Increase of hours,
So, I mean, your
And-
maximum liability there is $3,000, because that's what you offer to a full-time employee for a stipend.
and she's full-time, right? Is she full-time?
She's part-time. Because she does not regularly work 40 hours a week.
Okay,
She's part-time,
she's still part-time, okay. So that's just a stipend that goes towards her medical.
right?
How many hours does she work?
I mean, right now, she's working 40 hours
Yeah,
a week
seems like
because it's
she's-
sky
yeah.
season,
Seems
but
like you're every day.
typically it's Monday through Thursday from
Yeah.
8 to 3 is her schedule.
That's her schedule, that's what we were talking about going,
Yeah,
She was set to go, she was supposed to be 28 hours, but she regularly works more than that.
And the average was, it was like 32 hours or something over the course of the year.
I don't know the average.
Okay.
and just as soon as you go to full-time, then the medical.
Right,
know,
but it's
that's
it's not,
kicked in.
it's
But
not 40 hours.
that's not gonna happen,
No.
okay, that's,
It's 40
that's all,
hours
yeah,
in peak.
I just couldn't remember,
Yeah.
yeah,
in this specific instance, that's your liability.
okay,
Because it wasn't all the time either.
Yeah.
I mean, there were certain times she was working a lot more,
Mhm.
other
Right.
times not.
You guys want to schedule a specific budget working meeting? Are we ready
a
for
good
that?
idea to get some of that done. Victoria
Should we
sure
do
is,
that on
she
the
loves
off
budgets.
week? The first and third Tuesdays or?
I mean, unless you guys are actually going to schedule some appointments individually to write your sections of the budget. You should come up with some kind of plan. I would prefer not another night meeting personally. But
Okay, well, let's give it one more stat, at least one more. of trying to set up individual appointments for what needs to be filled in. We might have less holes to fill in.
Can we, allocate a certain amount of our next meeting for specifically for budget, like a longer period and do less, on the agenda so that we can really put on,
Just ask for.
To an extent,
Last night.
put some time.
yes.
What?
She just asked for last night meeting.
No.
No,
I
but it
think
would
he's
be
asking for a
regular meeting.
It'd be a regular select board meeting.
Yeah,
but-
to an extent you can, but I mean, there are things that you have to do.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Okay.
Alright, I'm putting the budget away.
Okay. Where are we?
Contractor policy.
Contract, okay.
I have not revised that to update the workers' comp language. I also have not had any luck speaking with an engineer about the Act 250 permit for the gravel pit.
Okay. What about the town road name?
Town road name, any other follow-up thoughts?
Oh, my God, no.
Municipal Meadows, that's.
I think we ought to ask the townspeople.
We do not have time for that,
Oh,
respectfully.
we gotta do that quickly?
Listen,
Yeah.
if you're going to change the road name, it should be done at a minimum by like mid-November, so that it gives Jeff time to
Yeah.
update the system, us time to warn everybody that it's coming, we can be ready to put it in the town report and publicize it, so that things
So
can
he's
fall
at
into place.
Municipal Meadows or something?
The suggestion was municipal meadows, yes, because meadows is a suffix,
Yeah,
so instead of road, it would be MDWS, I think, is what the post office suffix is, municipal meadows.
what about just Royalton
Strikes
Meadows?
me as an expense, like a distinction without a difference. I mean, to create.
It's to comply with Vermont E911 regulations,
Can be like-
because once you have 3 or more unique locations, properties, buildings off of a private road, it needs its own name.
But,
Could it be Royalton Meadows?
I don't really.
we don't have three yet.
No,
We don't have to.
You have the town office building, you have the gravel pit out back, you have the space for the
The
rental.
gravel pit
trailer.
is not an address. I mean.
No.
It
but it
has
depends
an
if it's-
address and it needs an address so that when emergency services are called, they know where they're responding to.
Any
Because
place-
if someone gets hurt in the gravel pit,
Then
it
it's their own damn fault.
yes, but it is faster to be able to tell the operator it's this location at Municipal Meadows, and then fire and rescue know exactly where they're going. Versus it's 2460 Vermont Route 14. You decide whether it's the rescue building, the town office building, somebody in the dental trailer, somebody up on the hiking trails, or somebody in the gravel pit.
or the police-
It's the
but how-
state level regulation.
No, I get that, but. And I know this is not you, but it's like, but how is that different saying it's municipal meadows? It's like, so this building will have a number, the gravel pit will have a number.
Yes. The dental trailer will have a number, or that spot will have a number, that lot will have a number, if there's something else there, and the rescue building will have a number.
Fine.
I know, it's very boring.
So he's recommending Municipal Meadows.
just makes
That
me
was
vomit
the
my-
Yeah, I can't do it. I
Because then
can't do it.
Encompasses,
Municipal.
No. Lizard way.
What do you suggest? You have one?
Town office road,
but it's not only the town office.
but that's the main thing. Okay, what are you saying, November? He has to have it mid-November.
To meet deadlines, yeah.
Otherwise, we will talk about what the road name should be until Christmas, just like we're doing with the budgets since August. Respectfully, like, I'm not trying to be mean, but if there wasn't some form of this is when we need to know by. I'd be trying to print the town report and everybody would be going, well, we don't know what we want to name the road.
No, I hear ya.
All right. I'm sorry, I was here just to ask a question about the gravel pit. So what is up with it other than Act 250s expiring? I was
The
trying to look
the
at,
Act 250 permit needs to be renewed.
so you need someone to do that?
It's
Cause I
a-
thought you guys were gonna put out an RFP and,
It's a complete minor application. There's been discussion about whether or not to put out an RFP. I've talked to a couple of engineers.
Well, attempted to talk.
Attempted to talk to a couple of engineers. We've talked with the state of Vermont Act 250 folks. We're working on it.
okay. So that is going to RFP or it's not going to RFP? I guess
That's
my
the
question.
select board's decision. Our purchasing policy does not require an RFP for engineering.
Okay.
You interested?
Possibly, I was kind of waiting to see what this RFP, if there was an RFP,
Yeah,
to be able to see the scope, I guess, unless it's just.
Well, and that's part of why there's not yet an RFP, because we need to know what we need before we can put out an RFP, and it's taken time to be able to talk to people and figure it out.
It just sounds like one of those things, like if you're asking engineers to help put the RFP together. Then of course it's that engineer that has the leg up or not, or whatever, and it's. Interesting situation. I haven't read our Act 250 permit on the gravel pit.
Would you like to?
Oh, yeah.
Because-
That's why I was waiting for the RFP from you guys.
It's fascinating.
No, I'm starting to try to find it right now, or. I don't know if you've got it easy, handily enough, and,
I can
Take a
send
look
you
at
the link.
okay. We'll take a look at it then. Can't imagine,
It's a complete minor application. And it's going to need a lot of things, which is why we're still talking about it and trying to figure it out.
well, cause then the other thing is like, the Act 250 that's changing, and there's different
Uh-huh.
criteria, and
Yep,
Yeah.
there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Patrick and I have been looking at this thing for what, 4 months now?
Yeah,
Neutral state.
yeah, no, it's not, well. Yeah, anyways. Okay, well, yeah, if you can, do I need to email you, or can you just send it, or,
You just want the permit?
yeah,
That's fine. I can
save
send
me
it.
from. Digging for it. I'll
It's
take a
all
look
on the
at it.
internet. You're just gonna.
No,
get
I
a
know.
link
I
and
didn't
a
even know
permit
it-
number.
Usually it's easier to find, but I'm scrolling through everything right now and it's like,
Yeah,
did they, I feel like they restructured the
no, that's fine.
NRV website.
I can send you.
Okay,
I got you. I put it on my minute notes, so I won't forget.
awesome. Well, I'm out. Have fun, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Ian.
All right, next thing, I added this to the agenda just because it's something I noticed, and I thought maybe we could talk about it. There's a painting in the Rutland Academy building, which is from the, I guess it's from the terrace or somewhere on that side of it, yeah, looking across the river. The painting is framed, but it's got a corner that's lifted up and it looks like it's coming out of the frame, and it's got a ding from the, looks like they're moving the painting and there's a hole in it. And since it's a historical piece, I thought maybe we should look at getting it repaired, not necessarily restored, just fix it a little, enough, or find out how much it would cost to fix it. So that it is not gonna get further damage. And after speaking with our historian here, he recommends getting things fixed before they go on too long, because it's one of those things that if it's damaged, it could get damaged worse if people aren't trying to be careful with it. So I would like to propose that we take it to be evaluated. And I don't know who owns it. It probably is the town, yeah. And I'd be open to ideas, or if you guys think it's a bad idea, then we'll find that out.
It attracts a lot of attention. I think it's worthy of fixing. Repairing.
I figured if we need money to fix it, we could ask about using, betterment fund for money for it. And if anyone has any recommendations, I just thought of trying a few places that, there's a place, a framing shop in Waterbury that I've used before for other things that they might work. But there, certainly other options too.
I mentioned Meeting House Furniture and Queechee does paintings.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Do these places usually, like, if you brought it to them, would
They
they,
give you an estimate, yeah.
is there like a, a fee, like a consult fee or anything usually?
Not usually.
Okay.
So you could take a picture, right?
Well, they might wanna see
They
it.
want to see it.
They wanna see it, cause they actually view the damage, I would think.
And then you also be able to look at the structure of it and whether. You can't really tell some of that stuff from a picture. But
Yeah, I think. Sort of bang for the buck, scenario, this is,
Well, I'd
it's a
certainly,
good thing to do at a, which. I mean,
Would you,
certainly approach it cautiously, just make sure that, you get blindsided.
would you be able to bring it in or?
Yeah.
It's small enough, it fits in a car, so,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
smaller than that one.
oh, yeah.
It's about,
Oh, I didn't realize. Yeah, it was there.
yeah, I think that's a
Do it.
fine idea, yeah.
Great.
well, I'll report back.
Okay. So we made no decision on the town road name.
I'll leave it on the agenda for next time.
Is this the Crawfords, like, before the farm, before it was a
No.
lot?
Used to be Crawford Auto Land Lane.
And then it was Goodrich
Yeah.
Meadows, because the Goodrich family had their farm here.
I like using historical names.
Yeah,
I think-
I'd much prefer Goodrich Meadows than Municipal Meadows.
I mean, I like using the name Goodrich because I know we gave the town the land for the school, and we don't have any name on anything. More so than Crawford's, who we had to buy the land from. And clean up.
Well, the other thing you need to do with a name like Goodrich Meadows is you need to check the database to see if that's used anywhere else in town, which I doubt it is, but.
Even Goodrich Municipal Meadows, like, comes down the.
Makes it too long.
Too long.
I really don't wanna have to write Goodrich Municipal Meadows out. on
You're gonna have
anything.
to, I'm gonna make it longer.
Take the municipal out of there.
Make it
you know,
as long
like-
as possible now.
Make the longest name.
Oh,
Well, I actually like, I think that's a good suggestion. If we want to propose a different name,
yeah, I can ask Jeff to look and see if it is available.
and we have a reason for it.
Yeah. that's
Yeah.
fine.
All right, anything else?
I think Tim has a motion.
You've got minutes and warrants.
Oh, I make a
on
motion
hold.
to approve the last minutes.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
I make a motion to approve the warrants that Stuart reviewed so carefully.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those in favor of the warning?
I
Aye.
Aye.